how marketing agencies scam local businesses and get away with it. So I'm sure if you're a plumber, roofer, or scaffolder, you're part of some plumbing, roofing, or scaffolding Facebook group, and I'm sure you've come across at least once in the last 2 years some guy posting something like, I can guarantee 10 to 15 appointments, leads, roof replacement jobs, septic tank replacement jobs in 30 days, money back guarantee. And why do they say 30 days? Because MasterCard does not resolve disputes after 30 days. So let's get in to the scam, and hopefully you can learn a few things to avoid it. So anytime you hear any kind of guarantee in marketing, run away, because no one can make any kind of guarantee in marketing. And these leads are usually most of the time fake. Why? Because they'll either get their friends to call, pretend to be the customer themselves, or make some fake emails and say, look, we got you these leads, we warmed them up for you by spamming their emails daily. It's not our fault you didn't close them. That's the argument they're going to give you when you're fighting with them why you didn't get what they promised you, right? And they'll be very creative. I mean, at best case, they'll actually run Facebook ads. They'll put them in a funnel and they'll email them and they'll say, look, these are the ads we got. But you have to understand their sales tactic is one of the funniest things you'll come across. For example, they'll say things like, look, we usually charge $12,000 for 3 months of this service, but for you we'll do it for $6,000, and if you say yes today, we'll do it for $3,000. And if they pretend to walk away, they'll drop it to $1,500 too. So, and what they'll end up doing with that is they'll say, okay, well, they're gonna pay $50 to some guy in Fiverr to run the ads management campaign, which you're paying them $1,000 for, and then they're going to ask you for $2,000 to $3,000 for ads budget, and then they're going to give him only like $500 or $1,000 too. So now let's look at some red flags they say during the sales pitch, the demo presentation, whatever they'll call it. For example, they'll say, look, if you sign up today, we'll give you that 50% discount, like we said. But one of my favorite lines they'll actually say is, you know, our agency is almost at capacity, and we can squeeze room for one more client because we're in so much demand right now. People really want to work with us. So if you say yes today, we can squeeze you in. But I have a few more calls today, so make sure to tell me as soon as possible before I take on any other clients. So they'll say something like that. So again, any type of pressure you feel like you're being put under is a red flag, and you should listen to your gut feeling and walk away because it's a scam. Some other red flags is how they'll ask for money, their payment processors. If they ask for you to pay them through PayPal, that's a huge red flag. Why does Fiverr have a business model? Why do people use Fiverr? Because of its escrow payment system where they protect the buyer and the seller. They'll hold the payment in escrow in case the buyer does not get what he was promised to be delivered to from the seller, or in case the buyer does not want to give money to the seller after the seller delivers. So what you can do if you ever pay through PayPal or Stripe or any kind of card transaction, you can always directly go to MasterCard by calling your bank and saying, I have a dispute where I got scammed and this happened, but you have to do it within 30 days of making the payment. Same thing with PayPal, you can go directly and open a dispute on PayPal, and even with Stripe too. But these people are banking on you forgetting about it after 30 days and then them getting away with it, and them just keep evading and profiting. And the worst thing you can ever do is crypto, because you can never get that money back, or bank transfers, because again, it's extremely difficult to get money back from a bank transfer. So be wary about those, and also be wary about red flags like impossible guarantees. So why are guarantees fake? Because marketing is not some sort of wizardry or magic. It's very calculated strategies, whether it's SEO, whether it's ads or social media. What you're doing is, every business is different and every strategy is different, whether it's SEO or whatever I just mentioned earlier. So you're taking data points that you know work, and you try to modify and improve them to the benefit of your customer's budget, basically, if you're a marketing agency. So you have to iterate, test, and find what works and what doesn't for that particular business and their target demographic. And over time, you can start to make some slight predictions after you have a few months of work with them. You can say, well, in this month, these are the results we got. In the second month, these are the results we got. So we can expect these could be the results in the third month. But no one can make any guarantees because it's not sorcery. It's all a numbers game. It's all calculations and analysis and adjusting ads budgets for more profitability and higher success rates, for example, for Facebook ads, which is what these people usually do in the end. So you'd be better off going directly to a Facebook ads agency if you were even going to do anything like this. Usually what they'll do, they'll send you like, look, we got you 10 calls from your business from our lead generation strategy, which is just Facebook ads into a funnel and then retargeting the contact information, whether through SMS or email marketing, and then giving you that contact information and saying, look, we have an appointment for you, we have this, which they can all fake, by the way. And even if they get you the 10 calls and 3 of them, answer and then 0 of them close, what did you get in the end other than wasting your time and money? So why do they do this? Is because they can get away with it really easily. They can easily recycle payment processors like PayPal. They can open a bunch every couple months and then age them, do some warm-up transactions, and then they can walk away with a nice pocketed scam in their pockets. What about even Stripe? I use Stripe for my business, and it's very hard to open a Stripe account. But they'll even do it and risk burning a Stripe account if they walk away with a big enough sum, depending where they're from, whether it's Eastern Europe or whatever, and that's a lot of money for them. So it's worth it, and they'll find a new way to open a new Stripe account eventually. So their objective is to play the long game, to profit and evade, and their objective is for you not to do anything or not to open any dispute for 30 days. That's it. Okay, so remember, keep that in mind. So how do you avoid this trap? What can you do to protect yourself? Well, you have a few options. So for example, I specialize in Google Maps local SEO, and I have a lot of experience with reviews and helping businesses deal with reviews. And one of the hardest platforms to fake reviews on is Trustpilot. Why? Because they're very strict. Essentially, if any profile is even potentially likely to have any fake reviews from the reviews that are existing, they'll put a label on the entire Trustpilot profile like this business is suspected of having malicious or fake reviews. It's a very difficult platform to do any kind of, sorcery or mess around with it. So ask for their Trustpilot. For example, if you Google vortexranker.com, my business, you'll see our Trustpilot and you'll see our reviews. Rarely will these agencies have any Trustpilot because they'll cycle through them, through brand names, changing the domain, changing the name of the website, and creating a new Trustpilot. And if they do have a Trustpilot, it's going to be, painted with many bad reviews, especially if they scam people. Another thing is check out their website. Do they even have one? That's a big one, because a lot of people who pull this scam don't even have basic things like websites. Is it just stock photos of the team and people in suits shaking hands, or is it the actual team, the actual photos of the real team members? Like if you go to vortexranker.com, you'll see the real team members of my business, for example. Ask for references, not just a phone number they give you from a previous client or a video they send you of some AI-generated guy holding a camera saying, oh, I worked with these people and they're so great, and it's just a fake AI testimonial. No. For example, with my business, if anyone asks me for references, what I'll say is, okay, here's the Google Business Profile link to the business we worked with. You can call the number directly on their Google Business Profile and ask how they found our services. And this is safe because you cannot create fake Google Business Profile listings. You need documents from the government of your business registration codes and all these things to even open a Google Business Profile. So you see what I mean? That's a real reference. And ask for case studies. Most of the time they won't have any. And they may try and be sneaky and say something like, well, we don't have any case studies, in particular to your industry, but we have some other ones, but I don't think they'll be relevant to you. Just say, well, send over whatever you have. Anything that's verifiable, that's a real case study, I want to take a look at it just before we start working together. Again, they probably won't have any case studies. So these are a variety of ways you can kind of open up the scam. And if you ask these questions, they'll say, oh, this guy's not worth it. He's asking too many right questions. We're going to move on to someone who's easier to scam. So one thing finally they may try and pull is just try our service for a month. And, if you don't get any clients, whatever. But they're charging a ridiculous amount for 1 month. It's not a few $100s, it's a few $1,000s. So what you can retort by saying is, look, if you're so sure you can get me a client, and let's say you're a plumber, and the septic tank replacement you'll make a lot of money off, so it's worth for you to take the risk. So just be like, okay, look, if you get me one client that closes for a septic tank replacement, I'll happily pay you for 50 or for 15 or whatever. And they'll say, sorry, it's not worth the risk to us. So why should it be worth the risk for you? You see what I mean? Again, Don't fall for these scams. If you do have a local business that is established and you're trying to grow it and help more local customers find you, especially on Google Maps, which is the #1 platform they go to find local services in their area, book a free call with me at vortexranker.com, and I'll be happy to see what we can do for you at a time that's most convenient to you if you book a consultation. But that's about it. I hope it was useful and helpful, and I wish you a nice day. Take care.